So first things first, T-Mobile and Sprint are merging. This is going to be huge for 5G. I don't know if you know about Huawei, but Huawei is pretty much the biggest 5G player. They're going to make a lot of towers. Great Britain is going to be hiring Huawei for some of their 5G towers that upset President Trump. So Sprint and T-Mobile have been trying to merge for a while. Hadn't been approved, was finally approved. I think this is a really good move. It's going to combat Huawei and the America-China conflict. It's been released today also that Huawei has access to everyone who uses that network. They've got a backdoor entry into every phone, every connection to that network. Bad. We don't want that. We want protected networks. Now, the government is coming after Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google. They're apparently going to look into all the mergers and acquisitions that they've had. So technically, companies don't really need to report and go into detail explaining why they purchased the company and everything. They just need to specify how much they paid for the company. So Google, Apple, mostly Google and Amazon have done like a lot of smaller mergers, lots, like hundreds of mergers of companies that they just bought. And the FTC wants to make sure there's no anti-competitive practices going on and that there's still potential for American innovation. So I think this is an interesting move. It's kind of something that should definitely happen. We should make sure that there's not massive monopolies and there's no anti-competitive practices going on. But it's going to be interesting to see if the government makes any of these companies spin off or sell those assets and what kind of effect that will have on the companies. So for example, a lot of people say Google and Facebook, their valuation is greater than the sum of the parts, or other way around. The sum of the parts is greater than the current valuation. So hypothetically, if Facebook were to keep Facebook and sell off Instagram and WhatsApp, they're saying the valuation of Facebook individually, WhatsApp individually, and Instagram individually is worth more than all of them together. So if you own these stocks, you could end up winning. We'll see what happens with that. It'll be interesting to see, and that could have a very, very big effect. Coronavirus. So the 83-year-old, essentially the head of the epidemic response team of China, has said the epidemic has peaked and it's going to go down from here. So we've, kind of noticed that the rate has been flatlining. He says we've hit the peak. Now, it's notable to note that China has changed how they're classifying, cases. They've gone from people who've tested positive to people who have tested positive and show symptoms. So if you just test positive, you're not in the count anymore. Technically, that's not the way to do it, but, we don't know what the disease is. Like, I haven't seen it, so they say that's how they're going to count it. That's how they're going to count it, and we just gotta work with what we got. So, good news all around, pretty much, depending on how you look at it. Coronavirus, I think, is unequivocally good news. Mergers and acquisitions of big tech, good for me with Card. I don't want any of these guys making something competing with me, even though I don't think they can. They don't have my trademark either. So that's the market today. Not a whole lot, but we'll keep in touch. Peace.